Welcome back to D1 Rejects. Today we've got a pretty fun one for you. We covered a lot of like traditional news. The last episode, we did a lot on the Grand Valley and Ferris game. We did a lot of the NFL playoffs. Obviously, had to play a little bit of a catch up because we took a little bit of a break. Lives get busy, things happen, ACLs get torn. These things happen, but we're back, and so today will be a little bit more of a laid back episode. We got a little bit of a different version of Jimmy Martin sitting in the right chair. Can you see all right with your hair in front of your eyes like that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I probably shouldn't do that.
Ty's back.
Best back in the nation.
Ty's back in the nation. And on the couch. Hello, doing? Sir.
Coach, how are we?
Coach Bielema, how are you today?
That's
Funny.
disrespectful. That's crazy.
You don't see that?
You don't see that?
Thank you. Not right now, but I'm saying in 30 to 40 years, there's a good chance that y'all are just...
And you'll be a head coach at Milford High.
Yeah.
Leading the Mavericks to a state championship.
Yes, I will.
Are they the Mavericks? That's the mascot?
It is the
Please,
Mavericks.
please,
Okay,
please screen record this, Trevor.
I got to study up on that, but Trevor leaves with us today. Taking Cade's spot on the couch. Cade had a little bit of a cheat code last episode. He was laying down. I think you're a little bit too big for that that maneuver that he was pulling off.
How'd it look in the camera? I didn't really.
Pretty funny. You didn't watch it back, huh?
I didn't watch that part. I watched the interview with what's his name, and then a little bit after that.
Swanee. But today's episode, like I said, we're gonna have a fun Friday. Michigan Tech. We'll start off with a little more traditional news in the GLIAC. A big one. Michigan Tech. They get a new head coach. Dan Mettlach is stepping up from associate coach to be the head coach for the Huskies. We'll talk about him and what that position means for our rivals up north. Northwood and NMU both looking to fill head coaching vacancies. Talk a little bit about both of those processes. Obviously not going to go crazy in depth with those. Just want to do kind of an overall coverage and see where they're at. But as far as the NFL scene is concerned, is Mike White the next face of the NFL? These are questions that we'll ask ourselves today. Drew Brees got struck by lightning today.
No way.
Absolutely, he got struck by lightning.
Is there a video of it?
Yep, and we're going to watch it today on the podcast.
Struck?
Yep.
Shut up, bro.
No, they thought he did. He didn't, though.
He's okay.
They came out and said he didn't get
What
struck
is he,
by
fucking
lightning.
Iron Man?
Drew Brees, we will watch him get struck by lightning.
Is it a golf cart or
And
something?
No.
another week, another big hat.
Oh.
Yes, it was on set, actually. So, teasing.
Like dead ass,
teasing
though.
piece.
Like, it's not like...
We're going to watch the video if you can just hold your...
All right.
Thank you. Another week, another big hat. This time it's Josh Allen with the Thursday Night Football hat. That is now the Buffalo Bills profile picture. We'll check that out. And finally, on the college football side of things, the college football playoff rankings came out. We had kind of talked and predicted what they were going to be, kind of as expected as far as the playoffs go, but we'll still check in on those later and see what the CFP is looking like. Finally, though, who wants to stay in a Cheez-it themed room?
I would.
You would?
I eat Cheez-its every time I work.
What's your favorite kind of Cheez-it?
Just the regular one. I buy 2 bags.
Spicy jalapeno.
I'm in on the Cheez-it snaps. The snapped?
What about the grooves?
I just.
Are you a grooves guy?
I'm a big
What about the
with regular
smooths?
Cheez-its.
No, don't do that. That's not real.
It's not?
No.
No, they're actually good Cheez-Its
Told your
are
ass, don't do that.
jalapeno ones. You know the jalapeno ones?
I got them snapped in the pantry
I've never seen
upstairs.
those.
Bitches are good.
They are good.
Oh, I can't say that. My bad.
But that's it for you dropped the F-bomb earlier. Now you can't say bitches.
Oh, my bad.
Give me a box of Cheez-its, they're gone.
That's it overview-wise for the podcast. We'll get into that. But as always, you can watch this episode on YouTube. If you are, hello. Don't forget about the timestamps at the bottom of the video. If any of those things sound remotely interesting, you can take that little red ball on the play finder there and just drag it along to whatever you want to listen to and get the hell out. Otherwise, you can listen pretty much anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Follow us on Twitter at D1_Rejects and on Instagram at Division1 Rejects to see highlights from the show. Fellas, let's start with the GLIAC. Dan Mettlach takes over for the Huskies. They chose to not renew Steve Olson's contract. He was the former head coach for Michigan Tech. And now, as you'll see here up on the graphic we've got pulled up, this man, Dan Mettlach, is going to be the 17th head football coach at Michigan Tech. What were the reactions from us? I mean, knowing a little bit of the structure of their program, obviously I know some guys on the team up there. This was a pretty obvious ascension for Dan. I had the pleasure of being recruited by Dan for a bit coming out of high school, and he is just an awesome human. So this is, I think, a really easy pick for the Huskies moving forward.
I mean, yeah, he's been in the program for what now? How many years?
He's been on the staff since 2017. So
what, 5, damn near 6 years?
Yep.
I mean, good guy, good morals, so good for them.
Yeah, 100%. And it'll be kind of, I don't want to say business as usual for the Huskies, but I feel like this is just kind of a continuation of where they've been at, right? You're not bringing in a new regime. You're not bringing in a whole new culture shift or anything. So I don't think the adjustment period will be crazy for them. From what I've heard from their players, there have not been any other additional coaching changes at this time. I do know that's a possibility down the road. But, it's just comparing it to our situation, I feel like not to, that we're like, I'm glad that I feel like we're making progress as a program and we're going to pick the right guy to lead us. But it would be nice to just have a guy in the back pocket to be like, yeah, we're confident this guy could just, you know what I mean? Just step in. And not to say that Chewy's not that guy. We don't know. But for them, this seems like just such an obvious move. And I feel like the adjustment period will be almost nothing. So how do you think that is for them?
I mean, you said it best. You don't got to bring a whole new – you don't have to shift the culture. You don't have to win the locker room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they already – that guy's been there and solidified himself. So it's like – I mean, obviously we get it with Northern and Tech. But this is obviously a show where we talk about everything. So it's a great hire. It's shit. Like, what am I going to say? It's a great hire.
And I just wanted to kind of elaborate on it more, but it's like the culture is something that they've had for years, right? And I think the highlight of what that shows in those games that it's a one-score game. If they're, down, up, if the game's tied, like Tech comes out and finds a way to win a lot of those games because they don't make mistakes. And I think that's the thing that we've seen when we play them year after year is that when we play games like that, we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, and who takes advantage of that more than anybody else is Michigan Tech. So they have the culture established now. The record under Olsen was below 500, and that's something that they definitely want to get changed because you can have a good culture all you want. If you don't win games, like, you're not going to keep a job in college football. So that is what we'll start out on. But now moving on to some of the other schools, another GLIAC school, talk about ourselves a little bit at Northern. Like I said, we're not going to go super into deep coverage about it, but us and Northwood actually announced the departure of our former head coaches 2 hours apart. If you remember, we came out of that meeting when Coach Nystrom announced that he was resigning. I pull up Twitter, and it was literally like, it wasn't even 2 hours. I think it was like 15 minutes. Sorry, I don't know why I said 2 hours. I think it was like 15 minutes apart, like the announcement. There was back-to-back on my timeline. Like right here was Kyle Nystrom announces resigning, and then here's Leonard Haynes out as Timberwolves head coach. Like bang, bang. So we're in a very similar position as far as the hiring goes for Northwood. Now, the one big difference is that we have an interim in Dylan Chimura, who has taken over the reins here in Marquette and is just keeping the guys together and doing his best. And obviously he's going to be one of the candidates for the head coaching job because that's something that he wants to pursue. Northwood elected to not have an interim coach. They are also expected to announce their coach before winter break.
Holy shit.
So that turnaround time is, again, you hope you get the right guy, obviously for our program and for theirs, but that turnaround time is incredible. I mean, that's so short to be able to have the job posting, to put together a committee, to, talk to these people, review resumes, review documents, all that, and then finally bring in candidates and make a final decision as an athletic director. That is a very short turnaround time, and I'll be the first to say I would not wish to have that position and do all that shit.
No.
Could you imagine?
I mean, there's also a rewarding part of it. You hire the right guy, and you're a freaking genius, so.
I mean, it's kind of like being an NFL GM, right? You draft the right guys, and all of a sudden you've got job security for a while. If you don't, the pressure's on you the next draft to, like, get a playmaker.
Yeah, Bob Quinn. Pansy.
But I wanted to ask you guys I know Northwood is in the GMAC now, so a little bit of a different scene, but what is it that makes our league so attractive for outsiders looking at our opportunity? And say if Tech had posted the job publicly, which they did not, for an opportunity like that, talk about just like the competition, but what is it really about this league that I feel like has people just swarming to it and trying to get a job at one of these teams?
Because you playing in the best conference, and it's not even close when you look as to when teams in the GLIAC play teams from other conferences. It's typically the same result.
Yep.
With the GLIAC winning those games, and it's like bottom tier GLIAC teams going and beating some top teams from other conferences, or mid-tier teams beating the top teams from another conference handily.
Saginaw and Indy, is that kind of what you're thinking on that one? Yeah.
And Davenport going first game.
To
Nobody
Truman.
knowing who Davenport is, and they go and beat Truman first game. Like those kind of things. And you just know week in, week out, you playing the best. You're going to have Grand Valley and Ferris at the top every year.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, a down year for each of those teams is a loss, maybe two.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a down year is just like not making a run in the playoffs, right?
And you're gonna have a third and a fourth team who not too far behind, where their only losses are GV, Ferris, and whatever
One
team
other
is
team,
fighting with them.
Yep.
You know, and then you got teams, even the lower tier teams, where every game is not a cakewalk. You gotta treat everybody with the same respect, because you can lose at any point during the, like Davenport was undefeated and they was gonna lose to Wayne State until they made
Had to come back in that
drive
fourth quarter,
in the final seconds. So it's just knowing that you playing the best ball in Division II, and that could be a quick. Not saying some people don't want to come here and have a, you feel me, coach here for 40 years, but some people have aspirations. That could be something that could really jumpstart your career.
Yeah, something on a resume, right?
I feel like GV coach probably gonna go to Western Michigan.
Mitchell, you talking about Mitchell?
Yeah.
Mitchell? Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's like, now you go FBS. You go from Division II to FBS. Don't nobody want to coach. I ain't gonna say that. I don't know what his heart want to do. But or a Ferris coach.
Hey, whatever your opinion, man.
Either one of them, I feel like they're gonna be probably top candidates for that Western job. Any job in the MAC, really.
I mean, talk about two. Those are two guys that are already super familiar with Western Michigan, with Grand Valley and Ferris, both on the western side of the state. So, the area is familiar to them. Obviously, the recruiting, like when you get to that FBS level, not as much of your recruiting comes from that local area. You're going to outsource to a lot of different areas and let your coaches do a lot of that recruiting for you. But still, it helps certainly to have someone familiar with that area and the dynamic of, potentially the university there.
And then so say they both go take a job at an FBS level.
Yep.
Think about the coaches that Ferris and GV would bring in.
Just due to that.
They would be bringing OCs from maybe FBS schools.
Yeah.
OCs, DCs, coaches from FBS schools.
Anybody, bro.
Yeah.
To come coach at Division II.
Yeah, to be the head guy, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. Agreed.
And that's a testament to just how ball is played in the GLIAC.
SEC of D2?
For sure. I don't even know if it's a Big Ten.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's it's us and then everybody else. It's the GLIAC versus the field every year.
I like that. And obviously you have teams that go and make runs,
we gotta do that
right?
shit, bro.
We have teams that go and make runs from other leagues, but like you said, year in, year out, you're going to get a couple teams from this.
We got Bama, and we got Bama and Georgia.
Yeah.
And every couple of years we got a Florida and then a Texas A&M and a LSU and a Ole Miss. They in the ACC gang. So
I think you're right. I think it's a great comparison because you got a team,
close.
you got a mid-tier, right? You'd call those teams are mid-tier right now in their stage of their programs that all of a sudden they go out on the road and get some big wins and their only losses are in an SEC championship against a Bama or a Georgia or during the regular season when they play those teams.
I feel like they got to get rid of the regions. If it was no regions and it was just a bracket, it would be GV versus Ferris in the championship.
That's a very interesting point because, you have a lot of talent, especially in our region, whatever the super region is.
Our region was loaded.
I mean, Northwest Missouri State, and then you look at Pitt State as well. These teams are
GV, Ferris?
ridiculous. We already talked about GV and Ferris, so I'm talking about.
You feel me? Those both undefeated teams.
Yeah, and you saw those games.
That you play in the second round.
It was 13-8. 13-8 and
14-17.
14-17. Against, at one point, who were the number 1 and 2 teams in the country in GV and Ferris, and they barely squeaked by. At home. Both of them were at home and they had that small of a margin of
does
victory.
it even get harder, after Ferris and GV?
That's a good question, and that's an argument that's made for a lot of things. I think a great example of that, too, is we can go over to, the women's soccer world. GV is a powerhouse in women's soccer. They've won, I think, 4 of the last 5 national champions. It's something absurd. It might not be that many, but it's something absurd. So when they were upset by Ferris in, I believe, the second round of the playoffs this year, guess who's all the way to Seattle in the national semifinals?
Yeah, Ferris.
Ferris. Because they beat the juggernaut. Not to say that every game after that is a cakewalk. These are still playoff teams, but you're not playing the Alabama of D2 women's college soccer. So, that's probably the best analogy I can make. So, it'll be really interesting to see after this game. You would hope that whatever team comes out on top
it's like Michigan beating Ohio State. So now they got to go play Purdue in the Big Ten championship.
I think that's a good example too. Now, unranked Purdue is a different animal.
And then TCU, and then you get to the Georgia. So then
TCU's a legit team.
Whoever win on Saturday in Allendale is going to win the national championship.
I'm with that.
I would understand.
I'd like to see that.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I 100% would. Now, on the flip side of where we were starting with the coaching thing, What if you're a head coach? You're a head coach, right? Put the head coach headphones on now.
All right, bet.
You're a head coach. What would hold you back as a coach potentially coming to Marquette?
Shit. Recruiting going to always be hard.
Yep.
Trying to sell kids to come up here. That'd be the hardest thing. But I don't think, like, nothing. But for every, like, all right, recruiting is hard, but we play in a dome. You'll never be cold playing football.
Yeah, I feel like for every disadvantage, there's something that
We
goes
got an
with
advantage.
it. Yeah.
You could almost turn each
Marquette,
disadvantage.
Marquette is very unique.
There's so much opportunity. That's it's so untapped too. The potential is so untapped.
I've never been like anywhere like Marquette. This is truly like a different space. And I feel like if you can get a kid up here on a visit,
You'd fall in love with it. Especially during the right time of year too.
every time.
Yeah.
And think about when we bring kids, typically it's in the winter. Imagine if we was bringing kids on visits in the summer.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the fall. That's something that a kid would never, like my little brother. He came up here in the summer, he'd never forget that. After that, it was over with.
We're out here cutting a promo. Congrats.
It didn't matter if Alabama. It didn't matter if Alabama.
Yes, sir, baby.
Here we go.
Both the King brothers,
Carson
man.
King, man.
Man's own the Kings.
But that's real though. So like I feel like the hardest thing would, like I say, would be recruiting, trying to get kids to come all the way up here because we are in a unique area in America.
Yeah, it's a very nice way of saying it.
But
It's a very nice way of saying
outside of that, you feel me? It's no different from any other program. Is if you got to go get kids, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like it ain't necessarily that hard to recruit, and I feel like I ain't even gonna go there. Next person.
Next person?
Yeah, I ain't even gonna go there.
Oh, okay. So, Cade, we talked about it a little bit in the intro. You really didn't see this video, huh?
No, I'm excited to see it.
Drew Brees was struck by lightning. Thankfully, we've gotten reports that he has miraculously survived this lightning strike, but we are going to watch firsthand here the lightning strike that may have taken out
Is this
the
a big
former
joke or something?
Saints
Like-
quarterback.
No,
We're
I
gonna
think
take.
it's
Let's check out the
serious.
video here. So Drew's on set shooting a promo with this Points Bets USA, and here we are on set. Little BTS, a little bit of a storm brewing there, and holy shit, took him out. I'm telling you,
Long live Drew Brees.
That shit's
man.
all fake, bro.
it took him out, dude. You're not buying it?
First of all, it didn't take him out. He literally, did you see his Instagram post today?
I did not see his Instagram post.
He said, "I'm fine." And he said some joke about that he's wearing Falcons colors, so that's why he tried to get taken out. Something like that.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Take one more look at the actual strike. This is fantastic. The shaky footage. Oh my gosh. That is awesome.
How did they come up with this shit, dude?
So I will say, like I said, this was a marketing piece for Points Bet USA in a video where they're showing him being struck by lightning. I don't even know if the actual set is even being used for any type of commercial. I think it's probably just a whole ruse for just this specific video. And I don't know about you guys, I applaud this. I think this is awesome
it's got like,
marketing.
what, 3 million views?
It's Twitter has been buzzing all day about it, and I think this is just a win for them, and it has to have worked in their favor.
Marketing team.
W marketing team.
W's in the chat.
But yeah, I thought this was awesome. Drew Brees, what is he? I thought his next rumored phase of life was to be getting into the sportscasting game, right?
I don't know that he might come back, dude.
Do you think he's gonna come back and play?
No,
He
he's
can't,
done
bro. It's
playing.
over. Any team that would take Drew Brees is a clown.
Exactly.
He could not throw well his last year.
He too old. He ain't got no arm left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
Now, what if that lightning somehow rejuvenated it? He comes out, he's slinging these electric rocks.
maybe that's all part of it.
It's part of the comeback
It's
story,
the
maybe.
juice.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Shit, good. We told
but-
you here first. If it does.
Exactly. But
I did at least.
on a much not more serious note, we said it in the beginning. Is Mike White the future face of the NFL?
Bro, no.
Can he keep up this rate of play? This graphic would argue that potentially he can. Building the best possible quarterback in the National Football League. Accuracy. Oh, Mike White's accuracy. Mike White's arm strength. Mike White's passion. Not being Zach Wilson, I think, is actually a really key part of this. Pointed at the towel right there. I would have to definitely point to that to being a very critical part of this graphic. Can you find any faults in this graphic whatsoever? The silence speaks volumes.
I mean,
Is that fair?
I mean, we got to be for real at some point.
the only truth.
I'm obviously there's
No,
sarcasm
I know,
here. Yeah.
but and I feel bad though because in the NFL, you see it a lot, bro. Like people have great first years.
Yeah.
You feel me? He only started a couple games last year.
Yep.
And then, so don't nobody have no film on him for real. You can't pick up tendencies, not in a week, not in professional football.
Yep. Agreed.
So it's like he probably gonna have a solid season. The Jets probably get in the playoffs, and they're gonna be like Mike White, our guy.
Yeah.
And next year it's gonna be Mac Jones all over again. What is Mac Jones doing this year?
I mean, he's got fat Matt as OC,
His
so he can't do
OC is
anything.
Matt
That's-
Patricia.
So I mean, Orlovsky's calling for him to take a trade out of New England at this point is really what's like the public campaign has been.
Mac Jones is doing a bunch of nothing.
Did you see him last night?
Did you see how frustrated he was?
He looked like
Screaming?
Mahomes in the Super Bowl running around, dude. Not saying.
I'm like, yeah, that was my reaction.
I'm saying
to
like
that
the shit he was doing, like just running around and being nothing what Mac Jones
Okay.
has done ever was just ridiculous.
You're just saying, yeah, he wasn't getting any.
Dude was
There was no
running like
protection.
this, like in circles basically.
But back on White here, right? Back on White, back on this hilarious graphic. Whoever put this together, kudos to you. I think that was just funny as hell. But the thing with him, we talked about him last week. Threw for 315 and 2 tuds against the Bears. But you said, let's see him do it against another opponent, right?
Bears.
This week, going against the Vikings in Minnesota. Next week, they're going to Buffalo to play the Bills. If you come out of these next 2 weeks and you've got a respectable stat line, I think we don't have to crown him, but we can at least add a little bit of respect to his name. Could you agree?
No, I respect him just because it's not easy being an NFL quarterback.
But yeah,
But like
100%.
people
You're right.
is like, it's some people who like delusional though.
Yeah.
Agreed.
For real, you know? And it's like he had a decent couple games, like, but you can't
You can't crown him. Like you can't crown him right now.
we can't be
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, Mike White one of the best quarterbacks because he threw for 300 on the Bears. I threw for 300 on the Bears. You know, he played Minnesota. Minnesota really ain't got that good of a defense,
They really don't.
but
I
it's
think,
gonna be a good game
Yeah.
because in Minnesota offense is so good, you got to keep up with them. You know,
and in Minnesota too. So you're
And-
playing a little bit. I guess New York. You're playing in some conditions. So
Skull.
we'll see. Yeah.
Skull.
How you gonna deal with
It's a
that?
dome.
We gonna see.
Is it indoor at Minnesota?
Yeah, they got a dome.
Yeah, it's on me.
This
Yeah,
off topic,
look.
but I was thinking about it. Do you guys see when I think is it Ditka who does the Sunday night countdown like
Ditka?
right before the game? Oh, it's not Ditka. It's
I don't think.
Boomer. It's Boomer.
Boomer's eyes.
And they're doing like all the games right before the Sunday night game. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, the
we
what made you think of that?
I don't know, but we got to get a video compilation of him doing that, like one of these episodes, dude. It's so funny.
We definitely would get sued. We
That's what he
definitely
does
get
every
sued.
Sunday night.
But to finish on the
You ever
Mike
see that?
White, piece, my other question for you guys is: will these next few games determine if Zach Wilson sticks around in New York? What if they do come out and endorse Mike White as their starting quarterback? Is Zach Wilson the type of guy that would fold and be like, "Get me out of here. I need to go start somewhere"?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll trade Zach Wilson.
He'll
You
get
think
out
so?
of there ASAP, dude.
Already,
Because
you think that?
he's so
Oh, yeah.
young. He's so young, and he'll be worth a lot. He's a second pick, and regardless, like it's not that like it's little stuff that you can fix with him. You know?
You think so?
Yeah. When you watch it, it's little stuff. Him not pulling the trigger on easy throws.
Yeah.
You know, running around and not throwing the ball down the field and just running out of bounds for loss of yards. Like that's little stuff that you can fix if you get him in a good system. So like, who would be a team? You
Oh,
could
that was
trade-
gonna be my next question. Actually, is who? If you're Zach Wilson, what team are you gonna want to go to?
Panthers.
Right, but I feel like
Panthers?
the Panthers will want to draft a quarterback. They tried that
The
trade.
Broncos.
Maybe.
Broncos.
this shit.
You know what I mean?
Who could want a quarterback?
Huh?
What teams would need a quarterback?
You could go to the Broncos, dude, for real.
I know the
that's funny.
Broncos, maybe the Raiders.
The Broncos have Russell Wilson for like 4 more years.
Yeah, but
they
Derek
put
Carr,
too much money into him.
Derek Carr for Zach
Raiders.
Wilson.
Raiders.
Actually, it could be conceivable. I think.
Derek Carr
This
for
isn't
Zach
crazy
Wilson.
either. Seahawks. Geno Smith is old.
Yeah.
that's not. Yeah,
He's playing great.
even
but
if you
he's
go there
a
and
lot
sit
older.
behind Geno for a little bit and then take over the reins.
I know Zach
Pete
Wilson.
Carroll.
Houston.
Pete Carroll taps into his potential.
Houston,
They'll
Tennessee,
draft a
maybe
quarterback though, dude.
They want to
Indy.
Yeah.
Indy's
It's
not bad.
it's a couple teams who would.
Detroit.
Yeah,
I'm just
say
kidding.
that.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
say
just
that.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Don't
Y'all-
even put that into this
Why
world.
y'all
I know.
think Jared Goff better than him?
No, but we're about to get Bryce Young. So.
I mean, he is Emperor Palpatine,
I don't even know.
Sith Lord.
I was gonna say I don't even know what that.
That's from
what-
Star Wars, man.
I know, but you talking about I didn't hear what you had said. I'm like, I thought you was like naming some medical condition he had. Yes, I was lost, bro. I don't even know what that means.
Oh, we can leave that then.
Say Sith Lord.
Sith Lord.
What?
We watched the video of Brian Robinson getting his big hat last week, and I have an interesting question for you guys on this one. This is Josh Allen following the win over the Patriots on Thursday Night Football, and check out that cap.
So
That one is sweet. So, and then one question I have before we get into the other thing I was going to ask. He has a hat on underneath this. Is that part of the hat, or is he wearing the large hat over his much smaller hat?
Nah, he wearing a big hat over his hat.
He is. Okay, 'cause that's not
That's a Bills cap.
That's not. Yeah. Okay, that's not part of his actual TNF cap.
he's wearing Diggs' jersey.
Is he?
No, that's Fitzpatrick.
Oh, it's
man.
Ryan Fitzpatrick's jersey. He was wearing it during
Oh, really?
warm-ups. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But my question for you guys now is, a hat like this, that video from Brian Robinson came out on, it would have been Sunday?
Bro,
correct?
I was about to ask. His business is probably busting.
Okay, so the business is up.
1,000%.
Yeah,
sales.
you know what? Good stat.
You're welcome.
I was about to give that stat. You beat me to it. Thank
Atta
you.
boy, Trev.
He's absolutely right. The business went up over 2,000%, and I
That's what I was
guarantee
thinking
you it's
about.
even more right now. But the question I was going to ask you, the turnaround time from that Sunday to here, those guys had to have seen that video. Did they get a custom order, and what kind of fucking bird flew that thing over there so quickly?
Dude, I
That
don't know.
must have been like, when you go and buy something online and they have the shipping options, like, give me that bitch tomorrow.
Yeah, he probably,
You know what I mean?
he probably got 1 day shipping.
He
They
also-
No, it's probably TNFs. It's not Allen's.
No, it is. I'm not saying it's Allen's. I'm
They
saying the
call-
production.
I thought you were saying Allen
They
ordered
called.
it.
They're like, "This is the NFL."
and he was probably
Yes.
like, holy shit, are you serious?
Yeah,
Like,
get it
It's
Yeah,
out
like
of Phoenix
tomorrow.
too. I don't know if you guys
Really?
talked about that. Yeah,
No, I did not. I did not
guys
see
out
it.
of Phoenix, Arizona.
You should have
Okay,
bought him.
there
We
you
should
go.
have bought one when it was
Trev's
like,
the
when it was
expert on
cheap.
this guy.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know.
I was-
Did you talk to him
resident
yesterday or
expert.
something?
Actually called them up.
Yeah.
To get some NMU ones.
So, as
Managing his
I was going to
financials.
pose the question. I think the hats are like $75 a pop. Should I buy a D1R one? We can hang it in the studio. We have the helmet. Do we need the big
put like
hat?
a shelf right here and put the hat on it.
I wish I can't really show that. I don't have the camera set up to show over there, but we could. I don't know.
I could just wear it then.
I was thinking about it. I don't know. I think I just don't know how long this fad is going to last. How long do we think the big hats are going to be
As long
around?
as we make it last.
So it's this football season. College football season is almost over. High school season is over. So in the
College
next
football doesn't
year,
get over until after New Year's. We got over a month left.
talking about for the majority of people.
Okay, fair. So you
So-
think after football it wraps up
Nope, it'll go through next football season.
through next football season?
Yeah,
So what you're saying is I should invest.
yeah. It's just like the gritty. Justin Jefferson do the gritty
on.
in like week
This-
4.
Versus the gritty.
Justin
Look at
Jefferson
that.
do the gritty in like week 4. You feel me?
Yep.
Now the very next football season, everybody's doing the gritty.
Is it ridiculous to say that the gritty is potentially still on the up, or has it summited?
No,
It's definitely
it's on the
stink.
decline.
It's
Right here.
plateaued.
Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
here,
Plateau.
dude.
I think plateau is an okay statement. I don't think it's declined.
No, it has, bro. TikTok is taking over the world. So everybody doing TikTok dances now. I did a TikTok dance when I scored.
No,
You know what I'm
didn't.
saying?
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
He
What'd you
did.
do?
Against
Little
Saginaw.
hips.
I was shaking my hips.
It's taking over the world. Even the best back in the country is doing it.
On
man.
the screen pass?
No, on a run, fool.
It was on that long run. Yeah, that 80 some yarder. I forget what the exact.
It was something
on-
crazy.
it was on
Something that's not normal. You know, something that not everybody be doing. You know.
Yeah, but I think it's a bold. I think it's a bold take. I for one would not be upset if these big hats stuck around. I think
It'll
they're
go in the next
hilarious.
season. Every college football. I ain't gonna say every college football team, but like you're gonna see. It's just like the turnover chain. Miami had the turnover chain.
You know that might
The
actually be
next-
a good
The
comparison.
next year, not everybody got a turnover. Blah blah blah. Teams is gonna have big hat. All you got a pick? Come put on the Texas A&M turnover hat.
Yeah, or go like they were like
The
mini
cowboy-
types
a cowboy big
baskets, or
hat.
like like go throw a dunk down, or like right on a board or something.
It's gonna.
Everybody
be,
have one.
It's gonna. Everybody gonna have a big hat.
You know what? And if they do, I'm here for it.
Yep.
I'm absolutely
I
here
like
for
the
it.
big hats.
A little bit more serious news. No longer talking about big hats. Sorry, but Kyle Pitts. I don't believe we've talked about him too much on this show.
Well, I
the
mean,
22-year-old
hasn't
tight
done
end
shit for us
has
to talk about.
exactly. That's what I was getting into. The 22-year-old tight end has obviously struggled this year quite a bit, especially for fantasy owners that picked him up and were vastly disappointed by his performance.
It's not even his fault though. That's the crazy
I
part.
was gonna say, so there's obviously two sides to this, and I'll let you get into it. I won't, keep talking, but I'll let you get into it. It's not obviously all on him because he's been called the unicorn of the position and been one of these guys that we thought was going to revolutionize the position of tight
Highest
end.
drafted tight end ever.
There you go. So, Ty, tell me why.
So me drafting Kyle Pitts with my second overall pick in the draft.
What?
It's a 16-man league. Though. It was a 16-man league. Got the first pick, so he was really
so you're second round. You're
third.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like second overall,
Oh,
bro.
no.
That's
stop
what I
playing.
heard too.
No, stop
okay,
playing.
thank you
So
for
listen.
clarifying. Actually, before you get into that, can we
All right,
put up I show the picture up here.
Yeah,
I
let's
probably
do
should
it.
watch the
Let's
picture.
do it.
But here's the
Watch
tweet
the
from
picture.
sorry, we should check out the picture. My bad. Words are hard. The Atlanta Falcons, they say the road back begins. They tag Kyle Pitts. This is day one from Kyle Pitts' Instagram story. He's got that big brace on. I absolutely hate to see it.
He tore his MCL.
Yes, he did tear his MCL. So he will be
Hate to see it, man.
it'll be a little bit of recovery for him. Obviously, a lot of football left in this guy's career.
You see he's trending over there right now?
When he comes back.
They ain't know
Who's- Aaron Rodgers?
They were talking
JMO.
about he messed around.
Oh, you're right.
Back.
JMO is trending over there. But anyway, sorry, Ty. I didn't want to steal your thunder there. Go on and talk about why he's struggling to be successful in Atlanta and
Bro,
your fantasy draft.
the Falcons literally just don't throw the ball.
That's a very
I'm
good
steady
point.
checking. I'm steady checking. Like, bro, why is Kyle Pitts scoring 5 points? Why is he only getting I know Kyle Pitts not out
Mariota has
there.
like 18 passing times.
Bro, I'm finna pull the stats up right now because I
That's
had Mariota as a
ridiculous, dude.
quarterback. I'm like,
So do I. I do too.
I
I
have him in
picked
my one league, yeah.
I picked him up. I'm like, you feel me? Maybe I could.
He played
Because
decent.
he getting rushing stats.
Touchdowns, yeah.
And Trey Lance, he decided to break his ankle, so I had to pick up somebody. when you look at
He decided to.
when you look at Marcus Mariota passing stats, 215, 196, 229, 139, 147, 129, 124, 250, 129, 186, 131, 174.
Very uncharacteristic of what the league has, really become.
Well, he throws the ball on average probably
18.
18 times a game. Yeah,
18 times a game. And half the time it's like
Dump off. To
he's
Patterson.
missing Pitts. That's what I'm getting at. Kyle Pitts led almost every game in targets.
Did he really?
It'd be like Kyle Pitts caught 2 of his 7 targets
Yeah, that was
because he's just missing them.
That's awful.
Mariota's a really bad quarterback. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, I remember watching Mariota as a little ass kid on the couch.
And I thought he was gonna be the greatest thing
Bro,
since
ever.
Jesus.
Ever.
And it turns out he's just not that good at football.
Wasn't it him against Colt McCoy at Texas?
No, that you are drunk. Oh my God.
Who?
Colt McCoy played in 2009.
What about Mariota?
Jameis Winston?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my bad.
Slime City.
That's
Colt McCoy. Mark Ingram played against Colt McCoy.
The only time I remember watching...
Julio Jones played against Colt
Bro,
McCoy.
the only 2 quarterbacks I remember watching as a kid that really stuck out to me, as a child, was Colt McCoy and Mariota. So I didn't know which one.
What year were you born?
2003.
You were 6 years old watching Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I had a
Must
Colt
have
McCoy.
made an impact
I had
on
a
him.
Colt McCoy jersey.
That's
Number 12.
crazy.
Texas.
It's impressive. Impressive. I couldn't tell you shit about Colt McCoy.
You
Really
was,
couldn't.
you was rooting for him when they was playing in Mexico.
There you go. I was. I certainly was. But that's the predicament.
He said shorty drunk.
That is the unfortunate current predicament for Kyle Pitts. And I guess we can move over to the college football side of things and look at the finally released college football playoff rankings, guys. Do we want to start there?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll pull up the rankings here. It's pretty much as we expected. We had talked about last week when the AP was already released, but the actual college football playoff rankings had not been released. So there you go. Georgia number 1, Michigan 2, TCU 3, and USC rounding out the 4 playoff spots. Now, Ohio State and Alabama, the first 2 out. Tennessee remaining at number 7. Even without Hendon Hooker is a pretty impressive feat. And I think really for me, it's not the season that they wanted to have because they thought this could have been their year to actually make a run at it. And with Hendon Hooker at the helm, I think they actually have a legitimate chance to compete with some of those teams.
I mean, when you beat Bama, you always have a shot.
Exactly. So I think really given that loss, a finish inside the top 10 for them and a big statement bowl win,
That'd
like
be
New
huge.
Year's 6 win for them, for a program like that would be
huge
incredible.
for recruiting for them, too.
Yeah.
They've already won.
I agree with that. I think you know what? I think they won when they put $20,000 inside of a McDonald's bag.
Was that necessary to bring up?
Now, like I was saying, they had
Anyways,
a really good season.
That was a previous. That was a previous coach. That's all in the past for those who didn't follow that situation. But it definitely did fucking happen. So
Yeah, definitely 100%.
They won when they beat Bama, and then they got
I'd agree.
all the way boosted to number 1 in the country. They could have lost every game from here on out. It still would have been a successful season.
I'd agree. Yeah.
But listen though, I think I said it last podcast. If TCU and USC lose, Bama and Ohio State gonna get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the predicament that we're at, though, right now. When you look at the records
if
for these.
TCU like get killed, it's over with.
TCU has Kansas State in that Big 12 championship, correct?
If they lose
and Kansas
close,
State is a legit squad.
Kansas State was beating their ass when they first played them, and then TCU came back at the end.
And I just scrolled down a little bit to show our viewers here. Kansas State is currently at number 10.
That's a good ass game,
So
dude.
top 10 matchup right there.
If
for
Kansas
those two
State
teams.
beat the shit out TCU and USC just lose to fucking
USC is gonna lose tonight.
I think they're gonna lose too. They don't have no
USC
defense.
has Utah, correct?
Yeah, they don't
Okay.
play defense.
And I mean, if
8
you look right
p.m.
back at the screen, there's Utah. At
Utah
number
beat them the
11.
first time,
Utah
though.
did.
Yeah.
And
So
you know, you could really make that argument that's going to be a good. Obviously, it's going to
and
be a
it's in
great game.
Vegas. That game gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, I think USC gonna lose. I ain't gonna lie. I really want USC and Utah to lose, or not USC and TCU to lose.
Really?
Yeah, because then the best 4 teams in
You
the country
saying that
be out
last time,
playoffs.
yeah.
I mean, I get it. I totally get it. And you look at the records of these teams. Like,
It'll be Michigan
you've
versus
got-
it'll be Michigan versus Ohio State in a rematch, and Bama versus Georgia. We ain't get that this year.
You're right. I can kind of get behind that argument. I can see where you're coming from with that, and it's
Because I don't.
it's hard because like TCU's 12-0, so like obviously they don't have a reason to take them out of the polls right now.
for
But
sure.
then a 1-loss TCU team,
You lost at the wrong time.
a 1-loss Ohio State and a 2-loss Alabama, like you're probably going to get the boot for both of those teams considering your strength of schedule.
I was
right?
watching the Joe Clot show. You know who Joe Clot is?
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah, good dude.
Got no problems with it.
I like him.
Unlike some other people.
He was saying he feel like if Georgia and TCU lose and Michigan, he say the top 3, he feel like if they lose, they should still make the playoff.
Really?
He say because he don't feel
That
like
I
they should get penalized for qualifying for an extra game. And in that being a first loss the whole year is qualifying for an extra game that's not really on their schedule.
I get that, but I can
I
kind of
feel
like,
like
I
if
can
G-
understand it, but like that's something that's been thrown around the last couple of years is like how much weight do the conference championships hold in these type of situations?
Well, if you
I feel
win,
like-
they're huge.
I feel like they gotta
precedent-
hold the same. They gotta hold the same weight as a week 4 game.
Exactly. And I think, you know, if not more, right, because of the stage that you're playing on and the stakes that you're playing for. And I think that the precedent that has been established in these last 5 to 10 years has said that these games mean a lot. And they really will. I mean, obviously they do because it's the last game really of the year for all these teams, a lot of these teams before the actual playoffs or bowl games. But these games, considering the precedent that has been established, is really make or break for your team. And I think that you can't go against that because that's what's already been proven. Now, the one other piece I did want to highlight on the playoffs here, guys, look at it's fixed in this one. So they got this right. AP had Oregon above Oregon State.
And Oregon State just beat them.
And Oregon State just beat them.
I just like, how?
So,
dude? You literally
thankfully-
just got beat by him. How could they be better?
Thankfully, the playoff committee got this one right. Oregon State coming in at 15, Oregon at 16. South Carolina at 19. That's got to be their highest ranking in program history, I would have to imagine.
No.
Yes.
South Carolina was just ranked like first in the country like 8 years ago.
When Jadeveon
And I'm talking,
Clowney and
sorry,
them.
I'm talking.
No,
in the,
not Jadeveon
I'm talking
Clowney.
in the playoff era. Sorry, I should have said that beforehand.
I was gonna say they.
You're right.
I remember when they beat Bama when they had Alshon Jeffrey and
You're right.
What's his name?
They've certainly had their years. I should have prefaced
Marshawn
that with
Lattimore.
that.
I think
They,
Marcus Lattimore. It's Marcus Lattimore.
Whoever. I mean, I should have prefaced it with that. But in this college football playoff era, this has got to
probably
be
is the highest,
their highest ranking for those guys.
Oregon
Then you've
State
got-
too.
I would agree with that too. Actually, yeah,
They were ranked
Oregon
high
State,
last year.
Yeah, but not
Oregon
that
State?
high.
They were
Not
like
that high.
they were like 15, 13.
Texas, Notre Dame, UCF, North Carolina, Mississippi State, NC
out.
State, all guys that have made appearances in that top 25. So not other crazy surprises. Tulane, I think is a
Damn.
pretty novel team and a pretty cool story to be in that position. I think
Weren't
you guys
they
would agree with me on
horrible?
that one.
Like 2 years ago?
I thought they were, and
thought they-
apparently they've really switched things around. Where the hell is Tulane? Does anyone know?
They went 5 and 4.
wanna
They went
say
7 and 6 last year.
Louisiana.
Who did?
Way.
Oregon State. He talking about they was
All right,
ranked
go
like
2 years ago.
13th
2 years
last
ago. 2 years ago.
year. I say, bro.
2 years ago. They were ranked a couple years
Tulane
ago.
is in New Orleans.
Tulane's in New Orleans.
Maybe I'm tripping.
2 and 5.
It's nice having Trevor out here. All the stats and all these numbers.
I'm thinking Oklahoma
It's
State,
good.
bro.
Yeah, you're definitely thinking Oklahoma, not Oregon State.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oregon
are.
State is typically pretty bad
I know.
at
There's
football.
remember that show Last Chance.
They
U?
do have the same colors, and Oklahoma State did have a really good year. I believe it was last year.
Oklahoma
So
State.
yeah.
They were,
Yeah.
They're like 5 or something.
exactly, they were really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they was ass this year though.
But then, I believe Oklahoma State was
The
playing.
quarterback was horrible.
Yes, I
I don't
believe
remember his
Oklahoma
name.
State was playing. Was it Notre Dame in that bowl game last year? Lost that and cost them potentially a playoff berth. If
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
would have
mistaken.
won. They would have gone to the playoffs.
What's that?
It was Baylor.
Baylor? No, it's Oklahoma
the
State
Big
and Notre
12
Dame were
champ.
playing, I thought.
Why would
No, if they was playing in
You
the
know,
bowl
that
game,
was the
they
bowl
couldn't
game.
get
You're
in
right. You're right. That was in their bowl game. They were playing
Come
Notre
on,
Dame
bro.
in
If
the
you
bowl
gonna be
game.
talking about stuff, bro, get it right, man. This is what I be. Nah, I think they beat Baylor. I think Baylor was gonna get into the playoff.
Baylor did get. People had made the argument that Baylor got snubbed. Yes.
Yeah, Baylor was gonna get into
Yeah.
the playoff, and folks slipped and fell like a hoe on like the 2-yard line.
Oh, I remember that.
Like, you gotta have heart. You gotta be a man about it.
I don't remember that.
You can't go out like that, man. He slipped. He got tripped up and slipped and fell on like the 2-yard line on a 2-point conversion to win the game.
Oh my God!
You
yeah.
soft. Like, you gotta
That
be
was
you gotta be a man, bro. He ain't got.
Was it high scoring?
Yeah, he ain't had no heart in him. He ain't got no
It's like-
dog in him.
I feel like it was like 55 to.
He ain't had no.
I know. Yeah,
He ain't had no dog
I remember
in
that
him.
now.
He ain't had not an ounce of dog in him. He bogus.
He didn't
I ain't
want
gonna lie. They should have cut him after that. He should have got. I hope. I'm gonna find his name and see what he's doing with his life.
You know who's got that dog in him? Ty.
Me.
You know who has that dog in him? You do. You got that. You got that dog. Okay, I'm not gonna take that away from you. But something else got that dog in him. Is the 4 lucky souls that get to stay in these rooms. 4 college football players will stay in these, quote, feeling the cheesiest hotel rooms before the Cheez-its 2 bowl games as part of an NIL deal. Fans can also enter to stay in a luxurious Cheez-It bed on the field.
Now that's
A
clowned out.
A
That's just
Cheez-It
stupid.
bed on the field. This, I believe, is just a rendering of the room that does not look like an actual picture of it. From my angle here, am I correct in saying
Yeah.
that? Yes.
This is so cheesy.
I will.
Bro, it was
you're a
Oklahoma
dumbass for
State.
that one.
It was Oklahoma State.
There you go. There's 2 different renders. I got them pulled up here now. But this is a very real thing. All part of an NIL deal, from Cheez-It, who has been, I believe, a pretty big sponsor of the college football playoff for the last couple of years, correct?
As of late, yeah.
Yeah, they have been. So this, I mean, it's not coming out of nowhere, I guess, exactly, but still, what the hell?
Remember
Who
last
came
year
up
what they
with
did
this?
with the Cheez-It Bowl? They had at the end of the game,
They had the Gatorade thing full of Cheez-Its.
and they dumped the Cheez-Its on the coach.
You know what's even better than that, though, is the Idaho Potato Bowl, where they have the
Potatoes?
French fries and things. And I think it was
Yeah.
French fries in the
I
Gatorade.
thought it was French fries, yeah.
I think it was. But Cheez-Its, a close second. I'll give Cheez-Its a close second as far as the Gatorade bath
I'm
post
not a
game
big
goes.
Cheez-It guy.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I know.
You don't even know that you said Cheez-It Smooths. They're not even a product.
They should be.
No, they shouldn't. The hell. What? Okay, guys. What are we paying? What are each of us paying to stay in this room for
What
one
are they
night?
paying me
I'd
to
pay
stay in that
to
room?
get out of the room. If I walk into a hotel room and that's my room, I will ask to get my room changed.
Really?
How are you supposed to sleep in that?
I thought you were going to ask to live there
On the bed.
permanently, to take up permanent residence.
No, that's horrible. That's atrocious.
What is it, the color scheme throwing you
Color
off?
scheme, yeah. How are you going to sleep in that?
Yeah, like
Just like
you
any
don't
other
even
bed.
put a kid in that room.
That is funny as hell.
You get some bedside Cheez-Its that appears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a little late night snacking, is it?
Then they grumble up the Cheez-Its into Snapped, and you drink those when you're thirsty.
What in the world are you talking about?
I don't know.
But okay, so listen to this. They said 4 players will be staying in these rooms. Now, they had the 2 bowl games, right? So they must have, I don't know. It looks like there's 1 bed in there. So they must have 2 of these rooms, and then 2 bowl games, right? If that's my math serves me correctly here. Who do you think draws the short straw and stays in the cheese? But they're going to be getting a bag. Think about it like that. Whoever's staying in there, you're going to get a little tweet. Thanks for Cheez-It to letting me stay in the cheesiest room around.
Yeah.
And then, let me watch my bank account fill up. So is it really all that bad?
I mean,
It depends. How much?
How much are we talking? Is that your question?
How much are we talking?
it's Cheez-Its, so
That I can't. Cheez-It's got deep pockets. Is that an eye roll for Cheez-Its?
ain't nobody eating Cheez-Its, bro.
Bro,
Except
I
for
just told
everyone
you,
here,
everyone
except
eats
for you.
Cheez-Its.
So I don't want to hear that Cheez-It slander.
I would if they did at the Smooths, but they don't. So
All right, that's enough of the Cheez-It talk.
yeah, get
for
these
us.
off our screen, dude.
Ty,
Off the screen.
did you find his name? You're going to slander that guy on
He
the
has no
podcast.
social media, and for good reason.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for good reason. I looked him up.
He's
That
off
was
the grid
that
now.
was his red shirt senior year,
No, that's
and
bad.
you slip and fall on the 2-yard line.
That's awful, dude.
What's his name?
Desmond Jackson.
Desmond Jackson
It's been checked.
is living off the grid now.
Oh, he is Sam Houston State.
What? I think it was his redshirt senior year. He had another year.
He said it was. I guess he redshirt senior this year. He left Oklahoma State, Went to Sam Houston.
He probably
State.
had to leave after that, scenario went down.
And he had 99 attempts for 345 yards, 3 yards a carry.
How many tugs?
2.
Good for him, man.
Good for him.
It ain't good for him. You don't leave Power 5 SBS to go to FCS to get 300 yards.
You are 100% correct on that one. But that's all I had for us today.
That was a good one.
I love the fact that you hadn't seen Drew get struck by lightning before you came on the show. That made it so much better.
I'll finish on this one. That was cheesy. Get it?
I love that, though. But for all who have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Thanks. Subscribe on the old YouTube. Hit a follow. Leave a review, on the Spotify, the Apple Podcast. Really would appreciate that one. Any words of wisdom, Trevor, to send our viewers into this magical weekend?
I don't really have anything. Just put me on the spot here.
That was pretty lame.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Watch some football.
Yep.
There we go.